How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing another Walter's World reaction. Weird ways Europe messes up Americans' bodies. I thought it would be the other way around. American food would mess up. Well, I guess it doesn't say food. I'm just assuming food. People from Europe, they come to the United States and they eat food here, and it messes them up, right? It messes up their stomach because the food here is sickly compared to in Europe. So I don't know how weird ways Europe is going to mess up my tummy. I don't know. We're going to find out. Thanks for watching with me, guys. Links down below for the original video. And we're going to watch it together right now on the best American Reacts channel that ever existed.
Hey there, fellow American travelers. Mark here with Walter's
Hey.
World. Today we're here in Genoa, Italy, and today I want to talk about is something serious for my American travelers, and that is how your body is going to react mentally and physically to visiting Europe. Because you know what? There's things that change when you go travel. There's things you notice, things that wear you down or hype you up when you go, and I think it's important for you to have an idea of some of the things that might affect you here, and way down below when you come to Europe. And I'm going to start with the things about that happen to you down below, and that is be ready for different bowel movements. Yes, after a lifetime of eating ultra-processed food and fast food in America, when you come to Europe, we have significantly more, less refined food, more whole foods out there, less GMOs. I mean, just look at the ingredients list on your favorite food at home and then compare it to here when you find it. Your body processes things differently, so be ready for a slight difference in the consistency of your movements and also the frequency of your movements. So be ready for that, because that's one of the things people don't realize is when you change what you're eating, the water you have and stuff, it can have an impact. So maybe you do carry some Pepto with you or some Imodium just in case. Because sometimes it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing, like the way the gluten is or the sulfites with the wine or lack of sulfites in the wine actually make you feel better instead of worse. So do be aware of that. But I will tell you, sometimes you might go from logs to toothpaste and not even realize it, okay? Now, another thing I think America...
Okay, Walter. Okay. A little bit too much information there, but part of it's also because you're trying new foods, right? I mean, you travel, if I go anywhere around here and I start eating like a whole bunch of different random food that I've never ate before, things might happen down there, right? I don't know, but and another thing could also be like maybe your body is purging itself from the toxicness that's been built up from, a lifetime of eating American food. Once I get to the Netherlands next year, maybe I'm not having access to those chemicals that I'm used to eating here, right? So then maybe my body's purging the toxicity out along with all the new foods that I'm trying. I don't know.
Need to realize, this is one that a lot of them complain about when they think of the physical pain I have when I go to Europe, are your hurt feet. Yes, your feet do hurt when you're here. I mean, think about it. You're maybe walking 2,000 steps a day when you're at home, or 5,000 steps a day when you're at work,
Yeah.
or maybe you walk the dog, you to 8,000 steps a day. Now you're walking 10 hours a day, 20,000 steps, 10 miles, 16 kilometers, whatever, and you're not used to that. And so your feet...
But the thing is that you don't have to go to Europe to do that. Travel anywhere. Go walk around all day for days and days and days on end anywhere when you're not used to it, and that's gonna happen.
Ache, your legs ache, you get shin splints, you sprain your ankle. These kind of things do happen. That's why it's really important to help alleviate
cool
that.
building.
Make sure before you go to Europe, you're doing long walks. You're getting used to being outside and walking a lot. I know Europeans like, oh, Walters is telling them to train how to walk. Americans don't know how to walk. Yes, we know how to walk. We just don't walk like you do in Europe with uneven pavements and all kinds of stuff. So we're trying to get you ready so you don't have those painful feet. And I want to tell you, one of the biggest mistakes people make is they get new shoes before they come to Europe because they're like, oh, I'm going to walk a lot, so I need to make sure I have good walking shoes. You better make sure you have broken those shoes in before you come, because nobody wants blisters and stuff when you're going to be walking that much, all right? So
Yeah, I was gonna say, wear shoes that you're already familiar with, you're already comfortable with, they're already broken, your feet are used to them and all that kind of stuff. Don't hit your feet with something new and then break them in while you're out exploring, another country. That's probably not the greatest idea. And if you want to have new shoes in Europe before you go, start wearing them a month before you go so your feet get used to them, I guess. They break in before you go, and then, try to keep them clean. If they get dirty, just clean them up real nice, obviously, before you go. But then you're used to them. Your feet's used to them and everything, and they're broken.
Painful feet, another part of doing it. But the thing is I'm going through these like bad things, like sprained ankles and hurt feet and weird pooping. But also,
Yeah, you are.
there's the good physical effects of going to Europe, as you might notice.
Exercise.
Your belt and your pants fit a little bit better. Yes,
yeah.
with all that walking and more of the, I would say, healthier food options. I'm sure some of you do healthy food all the time, blah, blah, blah. But I'm getting honest with you, with all that walking, all that movement, you're not snacking as much because you're seeing things. You might notice that your waistline gets a little bit thinner while you're here. You're like, oh, I'm a bit more European, can't you tell? Because I'm so much more fit and trim now. I mean, it sounds silly, but I can't tell you how many of our fans have written us, Mark, I just spent 2 weeks in Europe and I lost 10 pounds. I mean, it happens because of all that exercise. So there are some good physical things that are out there. And also, if we think about mental benefits as well that hit you,
Well, before we get to the mental, we're gonna talk about the physical here. I don't eat. I mean, sometimes I go through times where I eat a lot, but I don't eat a lot. Like, I eat like once a day normally. I might gain weight when I go to Europe if I start eating a whole bunch of food, trying different stuff when I get there, because I'm only used to eating like one good meal a day. Sometimes I'll snack around during the day. Sometimes I'll eat a little breakfast here and there, but like for the most part, I just eat later in the day, and I don't know why I drink coffee half the day.
I find that Americans really enjoy the fact that when they come to Europe, they get a chance to actually mentally relax. Because
Yeah.
it takes longer to eat here. You're not like going to a restaurant, they're forcing the food down, getting your order right away, giving your food right away. Okay, get out of here right away. You get to take time and relax and do things. It's much more calmer life, and so therefore it's a little bit easier to relax. That's why I tell people, if you're stressed out, you want to go on vacation, don't go to Orlando, don't go to New York City. You're going to be even more stressed out. Come to Europe. Take your time when you're here, because they're going to force you to take your time, because they're not going to be in a hurry as well.
Right.
So if you can get past the frustration of slowness, then it really is a lot easier to relax here, and that can be very helpful. Because all those long
Costs more to go to Europe though than to go to Miami or whatever. I mean, the plane tickets and stuff like that. The food, everything's cheaper once you get to Europe though, so maybe it'll even itself out over a course of a couple weeks stay.
longer meals and
That
longer
looks good.
walks, calmer evenings, really can actually help sleep even better. I mean, once you get past that jet lag at the beginning, then you sleep really good when you are here with all that, so that's nice. Another kind of mental struggle I think Americans have that they maybe don't say anything about right away, but they notice when they're there, is just the struggle with personal space. Like in the US, we like our big bubble, but some places in Europe, you're literally this close to people all the time.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that sometimes mentally some Americans have a really tough time with. So just be ready for that when you're on public transportation, you're going to museums. Heck, when you're sitting at restaurants and they're all so close together, like how do they sit at these little tiny tables and 4 people are eating there? They find a way, and that's one of those things. You have to realize you're not going to have a lot of personal space when you're here. And I know for
Culture
some
shocks.
people that's a mental thing that really is tough. So if you are having a tough time, you are getting overwhelmed, like here in Genoa, they have the Corugi, these little pathways, these little tiny maze-like streets you go to, and some people get very claustrophobic and kind of freak out because in the US we're used to those big open spaces, right? 3-car garages, da da da. Here they didn't have a garage. Go and find a big piazza where there's plenty of space. Go find a park
Yeah.
where you can kind of get some space. That's going to help you out mentally to kind of like, okay, I'm doing better. Because when you're getting overwhelmed with all the tourists in Munich, go to the English Garden and get away from it all. Another mental effect I see hit people is museum burnout. The thing is, when you come to Europe, you're so excited. I want to see all these churches and squares and museums and towns and stuff. But after a while, it's like sometimes it feels like the towns blur together. Like, oh, we saw the church, the museum, and the square, and the town hall. Church, museum, square, town hall. Church, museum, square, town hall. And it starts going by. And then you're
Yeah.
trying to remember. You remember that one church that had that altar? It gets hard sometimes, and there's actually a mental thing with it where you get kind of burned out. So to try to fight off that kind of museum burnout,
That's cool.
what I recommend is find different activities.
What was that thing?
So to try to fight
What is that? That looks cool. Let me know what that is if you know.
off that kind of museum burnout, what I recommend is find different activities to do. Don't just do the museum, church, square, museum, church, square. Do a cooking class, do an art class. I know Jocelyn and Caleb, they
Oh,
literally were
wow.
painting Notre Dame on the Seine for a thing. Liam and I, we were making macarons together. We're in, you go places, you take these classes, it helps kind of change up your mental attitude. We're in
I would love to make some macarons, or just really, I just would love to eat some macarons. I just want to eat like a big pile of macarons right now. Those are so good. Probably not as good as the ones in Europe. You know, the ones that I've had aren't going to compare to the ones over there, but regardless, I'll take any of them right now. They're so good.
Sevilla, we went to Isla Magica, the amusement park there, just to give our brains kind of a reset so we didn't have that burnout
Yeah.
of, another museum and square, another church, because that does happen. And that's not just American tourists, that happens to a lot of tourists when you travel around.
Anywhere.
And I
Yeah.
think about, if I think about burnout, I think there's one, if you're someone that doesn't usually speak foreign languages, but you're trying to speak it, like I'm here in Italy, I speak Italian, and I don't
I
get a
want to
chance to
speak
speak Italian
Dutch.
back in the US. So I'm really like, I want to speak Italian, so I'm speaking Italian to everybody. But by the end of the day, the mental burnout from speaking Italian so much after having not spoken for like a year, it really does hit you. Like, it sounds silly, but that's one of those things when you're speaking a foreign language you're not used to, it can wear you down. So just be aware of that. If you're like, oh man, I'm using my Spanish in Spain, but why am I so tired mentally? Well, it's because you're using parts of your brain
Yeah.
you haven't used for a while.
Makes
Now,
sense.
now, feeling worn out from the speaking, the mental side of it, but there's also like the physical worn outness because you're walking so much, you're doing so, you're carrying those bags, you have so many more stairs you're going up to, the no elevator, and I got up 5 floors with my suitcases. That
Just rent e-bikes, and then you have less walking to do, right? Most of the cities have e-bikes these days.
kind of physical wearing you out does happen too, and you want to be careful because if you burn yourself out, you wear yourself out, you become more liable to get sick. And a lot of people, they go on vacation, they're doing so much and they burn themselves out and then they get sick.
Yeah.
The last half of their vacation, they're sitting there coughing, hacking, feeling horrible instead of enjoying their vacation. So make sure you give yourself some time so you don't get worn out, because it's not just jet lag that makes you tired from travel. Now, couple
I wouldn't be
specific.
letting nothing hold me back, man. If I get over to Europe, I'm only there for 2 weeks and I end up getting sick, you know what? Then I guess my sick ass is going out and exploring, and I'm just going to be drinking energy drinks and hot coffee and whatever to feel better. Of course, I'll put my mask on so I'm not getting everybody else sick. I'll sanitize my hands. Obviously, if I was feeling deathly ill, I wouldn't go out, right? But I wouldn't let like a little cold or something like that stop me because I'm only in Europe for 2 weeks. I'm gonna go explore. I'll do whatever it takes to go explore. You know what I mean?
Physical ailments or physical things that you should really think about when you're traveling that might not relate to you, but it might relate to some people. One, chafing. If you're a huskier traveler like
Okay.
myself, you might notice if you're walking a lot in the summer and
Yeah.
you don't have the right clothes on and it's kind of hot, you might notice a little friction between the legs or in the armpits, and chafing really can become an issue. So I do recommend, if you've ever had chafing or you're a heavy traveler or you walk really close with your legs together, you don't want to start a fire, bring like Gold Bond or some kind of cream or powder to
Right,
help with the
right, right.
chafing. Because if you get chafed in the middle, all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're walking like this everywhere around Europe. You look a little silly, and you can't get anywhere very fast. And it's really, really painful. So be aware of that one, because that's one that does pop up in the Husky Traveler Forum. So saying that, see, it's not for all of you, just for some of us, okay? And then I want to talk
I'd
about
like
something for a female traveler.
Mark, if you're watching, do a behind the scenes like an outtakes video. Like some random scenes where you ended up walking kind of weird because the chafing, or like just random funny stuff that you didn't put in a regular video because you didn't want to show people that. That would be hilarious.
And that is your cycle.
What is it?
When you travel abroad, when you do long distance travel, sometimes your cycle
Oh,
could be
sleep
interrupted
cycle.
or kind of
Yeah.
knocked out of cycle. And so therefore you may think, oh, well, I'm not supposed to have my period during this 2-week
Oh,
vacation, so I'm okay.
that's like, okay, wow. I thought he was talking about sleep cycle, like your circadian rhythm or like whatever it's called, right? No, it's the women's cycle thing. It does not apply to me. We're good.
You never know. It might actually kick it in earlier, or you might miss your period entirely and come home thinking you're
Oh,
pregnant.
jeez.
Believe me, we have had that going to Walgreens at midnight to see if it's a if a baby's coming or not kind
Uh-oh.
of thing. So do be aware of that. So if you're going to be coming, make sure you're bringing if you know your tampons, pads, whatever you use, make sure you have that with you because yes,
Bring
you can
'em.
find it here. But have you ever in your entire life, no matter where you
That
are
is
in the world, when you needed a tampon or
wow, that is a very cool little street with the little the ball things hovering above, and that is nice. I wanna go somewhere like that. That is super cool.
you needed a pad, was there a place right next door, right ready with the exact one you wanted?
No,
Of
be
course not.
prepared.
So it's best to have those extra
Oh,
with
yeah.
you. I know Jocelyn brings her stuff every single time just in
eye
case.
keeps
So
watering.
it's something to be aware of, all right? So these are just a few of the physical and mental
Hot and cold.
ailments that Americans, well, actually, let's be honest, all travelers have to deal with when they come here. But I thought it'd be funny to pick on my American friends because honestly, we are pretty not used to walking this
Yeah.
much. Anyway, what are some of the other physical ailments you've seen hit travelers when they travel? Let us know in the comments below, and I wish you all the best. And I'll say ciao from here in Genoa, Italy.
Ciao. So yeah, Americans, man, we are kind of a lot of us are out of shape, guys. Out of shape. I'm trying to get in shape though. I think travel anywhere and do a bunch of stuff you're not used to, and you're gonna have issues, really, right? So, anyways, thanks for watching with me, guys. Hit like and subscribe. Have a super fun, awesome day. And I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.